Now, the involvement of the private sector in policy reforms in order to address bottlenecks that act as a deterrent for investment continues to be very important. Well, I spoke to Peter Biwott, who is the Trade Development Manager at the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Let's take a look.
The involvement of the private sector in policy formulation is very important because at the end of the day, it is the private sector who are actually going to implement the policies in terms of doing business. And again, the private sector know the challenges facing them while they do business, and therefore their involvement will make it easy for governments to understand exactly what policies should be prioritized and implemented so that we can have a good environment in doing business. Mm-hmm.
To what extent are we seeing this, though? Is there, enough dialogue going on between the government and the public sector? I mean, I do understand that it's something that needs to be done, but are we seeing this in practice?
Of course, currently we can say there's a lot being done. There's a lot of private sector involvement in policy formulation and even implementation. But they always say the biggest room is actually the room for improvement. So it can be done probably maybe better. At the moment, we are doing well, but we think it can still be done better than that. Mm.
So you're speaking about room for improvement. From what you've heard from the dialogues or when you are in touch with the private sector, what exactly needs to be improved upon? What are some of the bottlenecks that are making business a lot harder than it needs to be?
Some of the challenges include what we call supply side constraints, probably maybe poor infrastructure, but above all, the greatest impediments come at the port of entry when importing or exporting goods or merchandise, where in most cases there are a lot of delays, but there are a lot of proposals. With our engagement, we do know that a lot of governments in Africa, in Kenya, are now implementing. For example, in Kenya, we are doing the Kenya National Single Window Framework, where all import and export processes are being automated. And this is likely to make it easier for business people to do business. Mm. So yeah, a move from manual to automation will be one of the key areas to look at.
So this single window framework that you're talking about, tell us about the benefits of this, because we do know that with that you will have a reduction in costs and you also have a reduction in the amount of time that it takes for the goods to be moved from place to place. So can you give us an indication as to how much time can be saved and how much money can be saved with the implementation of this framework?
I might not have the actual facts and figures, but I do know that the implementation of, for example, the single window is going to save the business person the cost of moving from probably their businesses to the government offices where they will do the applications, because now under the single window, you can actually be able to apply online using your mobile phone. You can apply using your tablet.